Hello there guys, welcome back to a lovely episode of 5 Things That We Learned after Manchester City won their 4th Carabao Cup in a row. It really is our competition. It was delightful, it was brilliant, and today I'm going to pull that a little bit further apart and try and look at things that we learned from that game. But before I do that, I want to say thank you as ever to OneFootball for sponsoring my channel. They are absolutely awesome, and it is the home of all football news for your mobile. If you want to download the best app on the market, what are you waiting for? Go and click the link in the description below and you'll get all your Manchester City news, all your stats information, and all the breaking news about team news and transfers and all that kind of stuff. It'll be sent straight to your phone. You can also follow a whole bunch of different teams and get updates from around the world of football for the absolute huge price of nothing. It's free and over 10 million people use it for a reason. Go and download it right now and help support my channel and nourish your phone with a wonderful app. But let's get on to this game because it was wonderful stuff and there's loads to talk about. I'm going to start initially about our elite mentality. And what I'm referring to this is that when push comes to shove, we really do have some big game players. I thought City yesterday were absolutely excellent, genuinely fantastic. And I know people have been questioning Manchester City recently, but when we played our strongest side and we've gone for it, and we've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We were brilliant against Aston Villa midweek. We were great against Dortmund, and we were definitely absolutely excellent yesterday. Spurs are a decent side on paper. They are not Manchester City, no, but they are a decent side, and they were involved in this nonsense for the Super League for a reason. Mainly because of the revenues, admittedly, but because they do have the capabilities to cause anyone problems, especially with that forward line, the pace of Moura, Son being absolute quality, and Harry Kane, of course. But City yesterday were fantastic, and I guess one thing we learned about this is that we really shouldn't doubt the mentality of our players. There will be missteps here and there because that is human nature after all, and they are quite literally not robots, even if they give that impression sometimes. But overall, these are winners. And once again, in a final, City were absolutely up for it. Once again, they were absolutely motivated. And once again, the tactical awareness and the dedication was just so good. Watching the likes of Fernandinho and Diaz and Cancelo defend absolutely brilliantly. Cancelo, fantastic. Kyle Walker as well, an absolute rock of reliability and seniority. So good. Kevin De Bruyne, Foden going through the gears as he always does. Gundogan controlling the midfield. And I'll get on to him in a minute as well, a bit more detail, but Mahrez has been brilliant. Sterling in more detail in a bit as well. And everyone running and being involved. It was just genuinely great stuff to watch. I was delighted to see the players just rise to the occasion, and he made me feel so good for what's coming ahead this week. The second thing I want to talk about was Mahrez. That was peak Mahrez. And I think at the moment, we're seeing Mahrez's best run of form in a Manchester City shirt. I've been critical of Mahrez before in the past, and it mainly comes from, there's a fly going around. Get out of the way, fly. Maybe that's the ghost of my criticism of Mahrez trying to help me. But I've been criticism of Mahrez in the past, mainly because he's not been consistent, and he can be a little bit flaky every now and then. But right now, we're seeing Mahrez affect the game consistently at an exceptionally high level. He was brilliant yesterday, rightfully the man of the match. He had Spurs on toast. The only thing his game lacked was a goal, really, because he was constantly running at goal and creating space. And when you've got a player with that quality, it terrifies opponents. It genuinely does. And that's what Mahrez can bring to the table. And that's what you want to see more of as a Manchester City fan. That technical ability that Mahrez has got, it's genuinely, it's so rare. It's so special. And when you see that combined with the tactical intelligence that you want from a Manchester City player and the work rate as well, he's a game changer, a genuine game changer. And yesterday was fantastic. And he gives me big confidence as well going into the PSG game. Because someone like him, he does rise to the occasion. And Mahrez at the moment, he's undergoing a purple patch, in my opinion, unlike one we've seen while he's been at Manchester City. He's had some good games and good spells, but this right now is his best spell, in my opinion, by a long way. And I'm absolutely loving it. Riyad is on top of his game right now, and it's a pleasure for Manchester City fans. The third point, and I guess it loosely carries on from the points that we've just been making and talking about, is I think we're ready. Obviously, being ready doesn't mean you're going to win a game, but I think we're ready for the PSG game. I genuinely believe that. I think the City side right now are mentally focused. They are mentally sharp. And I actually think all the Super League nonsense has kind of sharpened and heightened their senses as well. They want to go out there and prove to people that their victories are earned. You can sense that Guardiola was furious about this whole thing. And likewise, the players by proxy, they were upset too. And right now, they're trying to prove to the world that actually we're not just some we're not just some soulless goalless club, and don't play down our achievements. Basically, I got that sense massively yesterday from the Spurs game and from the Aston Villa game. And right now, I guess we're using this as a motivator, and I think Guardiola would have used that as a motivator as well. And I'm getting the sense that the players are all coming to form at the right time, and it's going to be a battle for PSG. Now they may beat us because they're a quality side, but this side could not be better prepared right now because we've had a couple of games to kind of like sharpen the senses as well. Obviously, the Leeds and Chelsea were disappointments, but the upside of those is that you can then refocus, you can then not take things for granted, and you can then really pick out the players you deserve to be playing. And I think yesterday showed that everyone is fully up for this, and I've got no doubt that when we play a PSG, the commitment, the application will be excellent. The game plan might not work because sometimes life can do that to you, but I've got no doubts mentally, at very least, the players are going to be prepared and ready for this game. And of course, once again, we can't underplay the idea of what winning a trophy could do to a team's confidence. I mean, there's no better way. Look at the players yesterday. Tell me those players weren't absolutely delighted. People can try and play it down and say it's just the Carabao Cup, but I swear, the look on their faces yesterday, they were delighted to beat Spurs. After the week that they've had, they were absolutely buzzing. With the fans there as well, celebrating with them, it was the boost and momentum that the players definitely need going to Paris for this game. That can't not have an impact on you as a professional footballer because it was absolutely huge. And winning the trophy, well, it gives you that thirst and that hunger for more trophies. So fingers crossed, City are ready, and I'm not just talking a lot of nonsense here. The fourth thing I want to talk about, Raz promise? Question mark. Was there actually a little bit of promise yesterday in Sterling's performance? Now, I'm not saying he played exceptional or anything like that, by the way, and I do think he faded a little bit in the second half. But what I will say is that he actually looked like a footballer again. He looked kind of like Raheem Sterling again. Like, I'm not saying he was brilliant yesterday. I need to add that caveat, but the intensity and the desire, and he could control the ball again, and he was running at people again, and actually beating people again, and creating chances again. And I do think there's like a level for him to go again, but yesterday, he kind of looked like Sterling, something close to the Sterling that we used to know, as opposed to this imposter who's looked like, well, not even a Premier League footballer. Like, I don't want to be overly harsh, but Sterling recently hasn't even looked like a Premier League footballer. He's looked really, 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 really poor, and this yesterday was encouraging, and I guess it's encouraging because it was a big game as well. Guardiola, despite some of his poor performances, obviously saw enough to trust Sterling in this, and it was great that he gave him the chance to show himself a little bit. Because don't get me wrong, Sterling at his very best is so useful given what we've got coming up. I'm not saying he's back or anything like that, but we can't deny that actually for the first time in ages yesterday there was a bit of promise there, and hopefully Guardiola and the players and the I guess maybe the feeling of winning as well will be enough for Sterling. But hopefully all this momentum can make sure that we get the best out of Sterling again, because when he's like that, when he's running at people, he is a nightmare. He could be so useful in the coming weeks, hopefully as we bag another trophy, or maybe even two. It'd be great, wouldn't it? And finally, well, a week is a long time in football, isn't it? A week is an awful long time. The absolute roller coaster of emotions that we've been through as Manchester City fans, as football fans over the past week. I mean, it boggles the mind. We went from losing in the semi-final of the FA Cup, which was a crushing blow, and people thinking our season was about to crumble in front of us, to the Super League nonsense, and people felt, and understandably, and I felt that way, that our club might be about to change fundamentally in a way that we will no longer recognise it for what it is anymore, and that the fans were maybe not important. To all of a sudden that changing back round just like that, and all of a sudden redemption felt possible. And then we saw the performance against Aston Villa, and we reminded once again why we love watching these players and these brilliant absolute quality coaches and all that kind of stuff. We saw all that, and then finally, top the week off, we won a trophy, and everything, all that negativity felt like it was a million years ago. And I guess the point I'm making is that football, well, an awful lot can happen in a week, and it's just as low as you can feel one day, it can change just like that, which shows just how fickle football is, just how quickly the momentum and the tides can change and all that kind of stuff, and which just shows more and more reasons why we have to support these players, because their form, once again, Sterling or whatever, is a good example, as I was just discussing, but their form or their confidence or whatever, it can change just like that. It really can. So that shows me why we need to really, really get behind the players, because a week is a long time in football and so much can change, and we need to remember that forever when we're questioning players, questioning the club and all that kind of stuff, and I include myself in that, definitely. For now though, guys, thank you for watching that. We won a trophy again. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful. I'm losing my voice a little bit today, so I'm going to keep it short. For now though, I want to say thank you to my latest Patreon producer, Ahmed Ali, absolute legend, and all the names scrolling down the side of the screen. 54,000, by the way. Big love to every single one of you. City have won silverware again. What a time to be alive. In a bit.